13,500 pounds, basically on the nose as you see it here, the big beautiful Montana 3812 Master Suite here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. Now this footage could just as easily apply to the 3813, the only difference being just the refrigerator. Everything else is exactly the same. This is a little bit larger fifth wheel, but it is ideal for full timing with a like split path upper deck Master Suite that instead of the original design with the front sofa, they've rebuilt it with nothing but a front closet, and it finally feels like this is the RV it was always supposed to be. Not a surprise. Montana nails it again. #1 selling full-time RVing fifth wheel for like 17 straight years. This is a brand that knows how to get it done. As is usually the case with a really, experienced brand like Montana, they've become very good at this, making sure that even though it might be a little bit of a tight fit, if you had to, you can still get through here. You can get over here to the refrigerator. Actually, if you peek around, you see you have plenty of room. You can even kind of get to an area where if you want to sit down and have a little sandwich, you can do that. Now, normally, it's just kind of a given on these bigger fifth wheels. You can walk down the hallway. You can get to the bedroom and bathroom. I did want to take a second to show you on this one, though, because it has such an odd upper deck super slide. It has like two hallways. You have the door side hallway, then you have the camp side hallway. If you notice though, you can still get in here. You need to stop. I mean, you could technically open that shower door, get to the shower. You got your bathroom right here. You can get to everything, and then of course you just go up from the bathroom deck to the bedroom deck. We can get to our bed. So if we do need to stop, take a little bit of a travel break, we do have that capacity. Now, when we get her opened up, I'd like to say, hey, let's go through this living room real quick, but there's no really doing anything fast on a Montana. This is, the most successful, most popular luxury fifth wheel for the last 17 consecutive years. They've been #1 in their class. It's because they got a lot of good stuff going on, and I kind of don't want to miss a thing, sort of like, Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. So, actually, let's start back up top and work our way down. We have a Max Air type vent fan here in the kitchen area that actually has both a wall controller and a rain sensor, by the way. So if you leave it open, you walk away, even if you don't have one of those fancy, like, Camco covers that we have back in our part shop or whatever, no big deal. You'll find the same vent fan system in the bathroom. Also notice all of the indirect lighting up here. If you folks remember back in 2018, we did a family camping trip in Mr. Haylett's Montana fifth wheel, which has basically the same living room as this. That is one of the things that I commented on, and I call it stealth mode camping. If we turn off all of our main cabin lights and just leave on those indirect lights, at night, whether you're taking in a movie in this direct-facing, no-neck wrecker entertainment system where you're parked on the corner of Boardwalk and Park Place, or if you have somebody back on that hide-a-bed like a guest or a grandkid who maybe they don't know the layout of your RV as well as you do, so they don't stumble into things when they're sleepy, or, got a little kiddo who needs a little bit of a nightlight. It can serve a lot of different purposes. We'll come back to the kitchen stuff, but first a quick look at our slide height. 6.5 foot tall walk-in slides with hardwood fascia, something I like on these Montanas. Gives it a good feel, nice, big, and open, and I don't clock my noggin when I, stand up at the dining table. So we talked about the direct-facing nature of the entertainment. What you may not realize at a glance, and we will see this in just a moment, is that is actually a little bit larger theater seat. That center cushion folds down. There's like a hidden armrest console with some power outlets in there. But this is also power reclined with heat massage and USB plugs on either side. That's that little silver circle that you see over there. Additionally, no carpet. This is actually the same kind of flooring that you might find in like a nice pontoon or something like that, in the marine industry, because it's something that it can get wet, it can get dry, you can scrub on it, no big deal. And where I think that's really smart is right over here in something like a dining area. Now, the TV obviously can pivot around, so if you want to be able to watch it while you're, dining, you can. Of course, there's an electric space heating fireplace down below. Don't let the extra width fool you. Most of these things are like 5120 BTU, just like this one. But what you're not seeing is that we also have a 16,500 BTU heat pump built into our main 15,000 BTU Whisper Air back here. Now, both air conditioners on this are 15,000 BTU. Both are Whisper ducted, so this is a dual Whisper Air system. And this is one of those things that if you've never camped, you don't realize the difference this makes and how comfortable it is. I personally, I don't consider it a deal breaker, but I sure would prefer to have it. It's remarkably quieter. It's crazy quiet by comparison in here, especially up in the bedroom when you're only inches away from the air conditioner effectively. Now, all of our windows, all of them, whether it's a slide side, sofa side, whatever, you can see how they have dual section roller shades. That's something that used to be part of only the Legacy package Montanas that has become found in all of the full luxury Montanas. And then down below where those blackout shades are handy is, once again, if we do have a guest, if you are utilizing this tri-fold sleeper sofa, everybody gets a nice little blackout and everybody gets to sleep well. Let's really take a moment to deep dive into the furniture fixtures here. First of all, you see how this is a 3-seat sofa. So this is a larger sofa for adult seating. Seating. I think I combined the words seating and sleeping together, and I came up with like some new word that didn't mean either of those things. I'm not sure, but I'm unscripted. We're gonna do that live. We're just gonna leave that right in there, and we're just gonna keep on rolling because, you know, that's kind of the thing here at Haylett RV. We're just real people, you know. I never claimed to be perfect. I will tell you it's never been for lack of trying, and we'll definitely always try to make good on whatever we need to. So anyway, larger space for seating and sleeping. Nailed it, first try. But if you do have adult guests, take a look at this. You got side stands with actually hardwood tops, which is nice, but household and USB plugs on both sides. So good for phone charging. Even a guest with a CPAP machine can sleep here, because not all the guests are grandbabies, right? You see, again, you've got those privacy windows all around. That's a 12-volt fan for airflow up top, by the way. That's something I didn't specifically mention earlier, but it does not require household power. Now, over here, remember I told you our theater seat had that cool surprise. You can make it like one giant sofa, or obviously you can drop down the center console. This is very toy hauler-esque, but it requires a bigger seat space. Not every RV is capable of accepting this chair. What is nice, though, is even here, because you have USB outlets in your little side control panels, but you've also got a 110 outlet right there. So if you want to, you know, just run, you know, your phone or a tablet, that's fine. But if you've got like a little laptop or a Surface or something like that, you've got a cool space where you can keep all that stuff up and running. Now, you may have noticed all the windows. Now, it's not as obvious because I got a lot of the shades drawn to show you the day-night shades. But you've got massive visibility in this RV from the, you know, the rear wall all the way up through that extended upper deck hallway. You have windows, even a full viewing window in the entry door. So all of the windows over here on the camp side of the RV overlooking your site, not the neighbors. And notice how they're still giving you storage above the seats right there. So many brands have sacrificed cabinet space, and it gives you a bigger window, which looks pretty. But you know what's funny? Everybody wants more windows, but they want more insulation. Understand, ladies and gentlemen, windows and insulation work in diametric opposition to one another. So having those day-night shades actually helps give you a couple more layers over the window and can help regulate your climate controls, whether it's heating or cooling. Now over here, Montana does a really cool dining arrangement. It's kind of, I call it like a diesel pusher dining arrangement. So you've got 2 full-time chairs here. And what I like about this is, even though they give you kind of the shipping strap to keep them in place, you don't need it, because you got what I like to call the chair buddy back here. There's a little gas strut on that thing, and it flips up out of the way when you don't want to use it, but it can also just flip down to keep these chairs locked in place in travel mode so they don't jiggle bang all over the place. Now, obviously, you've got a little bit of storage below this table, but what's cool is you can grab this, fold it down, and the table actually telescopes in and out. You see the end of this table, how you can see a gap up in there? In just a second, you're going to watch that gap magically disappear. Now, I'm not like Penn and Teller here. I don't know how to perform wizardry. You're just going to see that the thing actually slides. But first, remember, you do have a pair of full-away guest chairs. But what I like in Montana, they use a little bit more sturdy chair, so it doesn't feel like your guests are sitting at the kiddie table. Obviously, they can stand up on their own even when they're not folded out. And just like that, you see how small that is now. So if you want all that dining guest space, you can. But if it is mostly just 1 or 2 of you, you can walk through this thing and navigate so easily. It's not obtrusive. What is also nice, too, you'll find one of these over in the kitchen. One of these little pop-up power towers. 2 household outlets, 2 USB outlets. Pops up when you need it, slides down when you don't. Again, very handy if you're going to do some work camping. And there's a good look at that table in the recessed mode. That's probably one of the easiest ways to spot that. So we talked about the taller walk-in slides. Let me take a little bit of a step back here so you can really just kind of see a nice, wide angle shot of this for, I guess I don't actually use a wide angle lens, but you know what I mean. Kind of get a good panoramic view of her. Take a look at the island. You'll find that all of the countertops in this kitchen here, all solid surface, and you've got dual stainless sinks. You have one extra large sink for cleaning big stuff, or maybe giving grandbaby a bath or a small dog, something like that. I know some people do some things like that. One like kind of veggie prep sink. Over here, of course, drawers in the kitchen with just tons of storage space below. But one of my favorite things is as I back up, below yet another drawer is a dedicated wastebasket space. And take a look how you've got easy reach outlets. You'll find easy reach outlets all over the kitchens of not just Montana's, but also their sister Cougar that we have here at Haylett RV. That's something that Keystone's very, very good at. Now, I've mentioned before that the living room of this RV is very similar to something like a 3120 or 3121 Montana. Like Mr. Haylett has a 3120 that he typically jets around in. They kind of found something that works. What they did here is they changed the upper deck to give it more storage. And what I kind of think the interesting thing here is, like, if you're going to be traveling, I think you should really consider looking at a 3120 Montana here at Haylett RV, because that 35-foot length almost on the nose makes it much, much easier to handle to get in and out of spaces. They both have this excellent kitchen space. You see the motion lighting there in that big pantry built right in the slide. Convection microwave, sealed burner stovetop, kind of more of a residential system there. More of those outlets in the corner. Again, there if you want them, gone if you don't. That burner system, by the way, much, much easier to clean because you don't have to disassemble half the thing. Larger 22-inch oven, plywood drawers down to the floors, including drawer below the stove there. But this one, the 3812, with that extended, expanded upper deck, I think it's excellent for folks who are going to go seasonal and or full-time RVing, who need the extra space and storage for more of a, like living situation versus just, weekend getaway situation. Now, the only difference between the 3813 and 3812 is the refrigerator. Basically, even numbers are an RV fridge. Odd numbers are a residential fridge. You will find most dealers have the residential refrigerators. You will find we pretty much exclusively stock the gas electric 18 cubic foot fridge. Neither fridge is bigger in either Montana. The reason we like to go with this one is since it's dual source, it gives you an automatic backup. Not to mention the fact, God forbid you need service on them, getting good work on a residential fridge is about as easy as enacting an act of Congress. It sucks, guys. We are a service-based dealership, and the service aspects of those residential fridges are the biggest reasons that we stay away from them. And I'll stand on that. I'll stand on that like crazy. There's very few RVs we keep here with a resi fridge. They do have some advantages. I'm not trying to be completely one-sided, but in our view, in our experience from our customers' reports, the benefits here greatly outweigh any potential disadvantages they may have, which are largely only theoretical anyway. Back to the storage. Lots of it. More indirect stealth mode lighting up top there, you might have noticed. I love this wide open thing right here, and this is measured to be just deep enough, actually a little bit deeper than it maybe needs to be for like a Keurig, like a coffee machine, Now down here in the bottom left, you see a couple black squares in the cabinets. That is your hookup for a central vacuum system, and all the hoses and widgets and whatnot are included. But down on the floor, a little feature I really like, the electric dustpan, as I call it. Basically, there's a little toe kick right there with a little suction point where if you sweep up this carpetless floor, you can just sweep everything toward it to go into your central vac collection point. You don't actually have to go, grabbing a dustpan. Because you ever notice how a dustpan, it'll just eventually quit picking stuff up. It's like, nope, I've done enough. I'm not going to finish the job. One other thing I really like to point out before we get to our bedroom and bathroom is the fact that we actually have a coat closet right by the door. A nice place to just hang a jacket or something like that. It is amazing how many RVs don't have anything like that. And all of our important bells, whistles, whiz-bangs, buttons, switches, they're all hidden away here behind a door where the little grandbaby fingers can't get to it. Still a little bit chilly this morning, obviously, still wearing the gloves. Since we have an extended upper deck, we have an expanded hallway window. I love this because, and if you notice too, you see how there's that extra step there. Most Montanas have a 3-step upper deck. This is no different. You have 2 steps here and then 1 step to the bedroom. Yeah. Having a dedicated middle bathroom is actually a classic feature that you don't see very often today. But one of the things I like is it sort of gives you this landing. You can kind of just wake up in the morning. You can sort of peek out your window. Maybe you stand here, you know, a cup of coffee or whatever, taking a sip on it. Now, obviously, right now we're just looking at our massive inventory of fifth wheels here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. Hopefully you're looking at something a little more scenic, maybe some water, maybe some foliage. Foliage, I always like to say that. Obviously, it's foliage, but you get the idea. Another little kind of jacket hanger spot right here I thought was interesting. Now, I noticed this does not have that Montana pivot door. I don't know at the time of this filming, because that was somewhat of a surprise to me, if that is something specific to this floor plan, or if they are moving back away from the pivot door to a more traditional hinge door. Again, because the bathroom deck of this RV is atypical, there's a lot of different potential things there that I need to kind of find out. I need to click some more lights on up here in the upper deck. I realize I forgot to do that. But, real quick, before I do that, take a peek. Again, there's kind of like a literal fork in the road here. You've got like a walk-through closet, not to mention you got the big closet in the front end. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Actually, light switch is right next to me. We're just going to keep on rolling. But, you know, you've got your a main hallway, and then you kind of have your own private bed-bath hallway. Of course, porcelain foot flush stool. Tons of legroom around here. You can see that stainless sink inset into the sealed edge counter space right there, which is really, really nice. And tons of space behind it. Like, you can see how deep this vanity is. Again, that's where I think this and the 30... This is where this one and the 3120 tend to diverge, is the upper deck. Whereas the extra deep, big storage, this one really lends itself, I think, to a little bit more full timing. Now, if you take a look, this slide out starts here and goes through all the way up to the bedroom. This is a triple super slide RV. Very uncommon. Usually you'll get just a smaller bed slide. So this thing has 3 full big super slides. And you can see that closet space built right in the slide. We'll get a better look at that coming from the other direction in just a minute. But first, finishing off the bathroom here. That's the only trick of this floor plan. It is so different. I've never really figured out a good, like, one motion flow through way of covering it. But the same seamless fiberglass shower enclosure with corner seat here that you find in any Montana. Height adjustable shower head hardware, but remember how there were only 2 steps up to the bathroom deck. That means that this thing has an exceptionally tall shower space. Case in point, here's what I mean. You can see that there is plenty of room above my head, and that is adjustable shower head hardware. It's at a pretty good height for me right now, but if you notice, it could actually go a little bit higher. So even if you're a little bit taller than the average bear like me, you don't have to, you know, do a get on your knees to take a shower in a Montana RV from Haylett RV. And again, a little more disjointed than I normally am, but it's because this RV, like I said, it has the multiple pathways, it has tons of storage. I mean, if the biggest problem that you're having with an RV is that it just has a ton of storage, guys, you're doing okay. Remember I said in the bathroom you have another one of those Max Air style vent fans? There's the wall controller. So, like, I'm tall enough, I could reach up there, but because, remember, you only go up 2 steps to the bathroom deck, you don't go up all 3. That thing is about 7 foot tall, the ceiling in here, so if you're extra tall, this shower is perfect for you. Additionally, oh, I love how those indirect lights run all the way up here through the hallway. Again, just handy. But you see how thick these doorways are? That's a pretty common Keystone thing, actually. All of their doorways are like fully studded and 3 inches thick. A lot of extra structural integrity going on there. Maybe a couple extra pounds weight, but no big deal. Now notice too, as we move into the upper deck, not only is it just the living room that's carpetless, but the entire RV. And that is one of those things we've carried different RVs here at Haylett RV over the years. They had a carpetless living room, but for some reason they always still put carpet in the bedroom. And Montana's like the first one to really get the job done through and through. But that doesn't surprise me. Montana's a brand that pretty much everybody else is chasing. Again, the most successful thing in their class for 17 straight years with no signs of stopping. Dual whisper air. Remember, dual 15,000 BTU. Both air systems are whisper, so that here in the bedroom, you've got that, you know, extra just comfort factor. Like, you'll still hear it a little bit, but it won't be any louder. Like, I like to run a fan at night. I don't personally mind the roar of an air conditioner. I know some people really hate it. It doesn't bother me, but this is still like, it gives you you can hear the air conditioners running, but it's not like offensively loud or aggressively loud. Also, they are still including bedroom TVs here in a full luxury Montana. That's something very few big fifth wheels do, even up in a luxury segment. Now, actually, let me scroll back up here. You see how it is actually angle mounted down, so it's a no neck wrecker even in your bed. That TV is also on a swing arm, which seems like overkill, but if you want to get behind it and plug in like a Roku or Fire Stick or something like that, it's easy to do. Just like beside the sofa, you got a hardwood tabletop on top of that dresser. There is full storage below the bed. You can lift it up, and that's actually an easy place to stow like your central vac stuff. Optional 70 by 80 king bed in here. You're going to find almost every Montana has a king bed in it, but that is actually an optional piece of equipment. Now look on both sides of the headboard. I like that window above for the extra light, but both sides of the headboard have side stands with household and USB plugs. That's a thing that not a lot of brands do very well, and I think this is probably a really good angle to get, again, like the fork in the road kind of concept. So let's take a second. Let me get all of this storage here opened up, because as if that full front closet wasn't enough, you have all of this over here yet to take a peek at, and then there's even more facing the other direction. Now, not only is this just good extra closet space, this is a great place to keep those folding chairs for traveling, or you could keep them in the floor of the main closet. But here's another thing. You see those power outlets? This is where the washer-dryer hookups are located. So it's not a stackable, it's a side-by-side, but it's still a separate washer and dryer arrangement with some dresser drawers down below. But again, if we exit stage left, we take a look over here, you see that whole kind of center hallway that's dividing everything? That also is nothing but storage. And I like that skylight above just to kind of open and lighten and brighten everything up. I'm doing sit-ups on the master bed to get angles like this. I don't exactly do a lot of core exercises. My abs are on fire, man. Handy little laundry hamper right here. Just little things like that. You know, where are you going to put yesterday's clothes now that it's today? Montana thinks of it. More dresser drawer space. And once again, another full hanging closet. I mean, there's so much storage in this one. It's incredible. It's one of the very few RVs in the big fifth wheel series segments that I think maybe actually stands a chance of hitting the GVW with just general cargo. I mean, most of the time that's just not an issue, but this one has so much storage. It's crazy. Below that big upper deck, we have ourselves a massive pass-through compartment. We have a 12-inch I-beam frame chassis on these that drops down to a 10-inch to give us that huge gap right here. And, I mean, if you are going to just pack this thing up with all the totes in the world, you can. If you notice on the left, there's a couple things. That's our central vacuum collection point. There are some TV hookups right there, but also a direct force air heat vent. So you have a heated cavity down here. Another one of those details, easy for a lot of brands to leave out. Montana gets it done. Now, quick note on these baggage doors, because Montana is, again, the most popular thing in its class. They sell all over the place. They have dual magnet holdbacks and slam latches, which is nice, but you still see where they prep these things for gas struts. If you live in wind country, you might want to apply a pair of struts so the wind can't grab the door. It's a very low occurrence chance of that happening, but it can happen. Now, a couple things here. You see how the steps are just floating in midair. I am not David Blaine. I don't know how to do magic or anything like that. This is a zero-G stable step system for MORride, so that, you know, this big heavy four-step, you don't have to worry about it dropping on your head, crushing your dog, or anything like that. Now, the entry door is a nice 30 inches wide, but what not a lot of people talk about is the height of an entry door. Montana has a 6.5 foot tall residential height entry door, just like they have a 6.5 foot tall slide out. You can see how the door and the slide are the same size right there. Now, as we back up, you see lots of windows, but you notice you have dual power awnings over here on the campsite of the RV, and since we have an extended upper deck, we actually get an extended front awning, which is cool. You have 6-point hydraulic leveling here to get this thing, you know, stable as you can be, push button easy, and those things move fast. You'll also find that you have a road armor pin box and suspension system, that shock dampening pin box and suspension, because this thing weighs 13,500 pounds before cargo. Obviously, you're going to put some stuff in it. You need to make sure it's not going to jostle your truck around getting there. You know, it is nice when you hit the brakes that the fifth wheel doesn't, you know, ram into the back of your kingpin on your hitch and, you know, or of your truck there and kind of, you know, bounce you all over the place. You just don't have to deal with that here. And this is probably the best way to get to see, like when we're inside and I say it's an upper deck super slide, it doesn't do it justice. When you step out here and you look at that thing, you go, holy cow, that's what I'm talking about. The entire bedroom and bathroom is just one big, frankly, it is longer than the main living room super slides. It's probably about the same square foot and cubic foot of space as the kitchen slide, but it's impressive to look at. The other side of our pass-through here, of course, has our fully enclosed heated docking center. Montanas are and have been 0 degree rated since 2005, by the way. A lot of people still ask on a big fifth wheel like this, is it 4 seasons? But Montana has been standard longer than anybody else. They're the reason everybody else does it. Also nice little touches, giving us a space here for like a sewer hose caddy. That little stuff is just one of those nice little separator factors. Now the underbelly, it's enclosed. It's insulated, it's forced air heated. There's radiant barrier stuff all over the place on here, but an extra step Montana takes on these standard is that they have 12-volt tank heaters. And let me get right up on the side of this because we got that nice looking high gloss exterior. You can literally see reflections of the other trailers over there. As we whip around the rear corner, a couple things I want to point out. First of all, this is rather new in the history of Montana RVs. They started including not just a 2-inch receiver hitch on the back here, but it actually has safety chain little ears and hooks and a 4-way flat wiring harness, very similar to what Jayco had been doing in their Eagle series for years and continues to do, actually. And once you know it, you see one of those right over there. So this thing is long, and you're probably not going to use it for doubles towing, but there are some states that will let you do that up to like 75 feet. So this is, potentially something somebody could do with it, or you could put a cargo pod on the back, or, a bike rack or anything like that. But the fact is, they have this thing set, ready to rock and roll and wired to do whatever you want it to do. All LED exterior lighting, by the way. There are still a lot of big fifth wheels that do not have LED clearance lights because many people, when they're shopping, you never see the lights ignited. So most people don't even know to think to ask for that because they assume everything has it. They don't. Little details like that add up to a big difference in dollars and cents, ladies and gentlemen. That's also a safety factor you should consider. Their LED lights are brighter, last longer, ignite faster, they're safer. At 60 miles an hour, LED taillights can give the person behind you up to 5 feet of additional stopping time. That is a lot. Have you ever looked up because you were fiddling with the radio or something and you had to stab the brakes and you almost hit the bumper of the car in front of you? I know we've all done that. Let's be honest with one another. 5 feet makes a difference, guys. It really does. Also, again, all of those beautiful campsite overlook windows taking a look at your site instead of the neighbors. Now, I would like to call this a beautiful southern Michigan day, but it is overcast, it is gray, there's no leaves on the trees yet. Not so much a beautiful day. But guys, when you got a beautiful rig like a Montana, you can escape this gray, world of southern Michigan in whatever month it is right now. I'm tired, I still got to get some caffeine in me. And you can go to some place like Florida, Arizona, Texas, where it's warm, where it's sunny. You don't have to be stuck here. But up top here, a couple things. Again, radiant barrier through the roof. You can see the dual air conditioners. And I got so busy talking about the weather that I walked right past. Our solar prep. Not only do Montanas have a little side solar prep plug, but right there, you see you also have a roof solar prep plug. Montana actually offers 2 different factory solar packages. And the good news is they are easily upfitted basically to an existing Montana. So that's something that we can do here for you. Or custom build your own solar package, or let us know and we can help you custom build a solar package. That is the kind of stuff we can do over there in that shop in our service center. There isn't much we don't do at Haylett RV. In fact, the easiest way to say it is the only thing we don't do is hidden dealer fees. We try to do everything as simply, easily, transparently as we can. We've gone way out of our way to provide a lot of information and education on a very big, high-level, high-dollar purchase, guys. If you appreciate that, all we ask is for the fair opportunity to earn your business. That's it. That's all we ask. I'm one of Mr. Haylett's sons. That makes me an SOB, son of the boss. At least they tell me that's what SOB means. But hey, regardless, again, just give us a call. That's all I ask. Happy to climb up here in my coat, in my boots, in my hat, in my gloves, show you folks around. We look forward to meeting you. Doesn't matter if you live on the West Coast, Southwest, Northeast. If you live 2 minutes away, we'll take care of you. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy Haylett camping, everyone.